we're going to start in my territory. We're going to start with the Big Ten. And I think we have to start with Hunter Dickinson's shot. And Michigan's season that once was on life support, that's the term I've been using for weeks, suddenly looks like it has very real chances of jolting itself back up and making its way to the NCAA tournament. The victory over Wisconsin today, critical to say the least. They've got at Illinois, at Indiana next week, both senior nights for those two talented teams. Michigan's got to steal one of them to feel like they even have a chance, but they weren't going to have that chance if Hunter Dickinson did not catch the ball with 2 seconds left, take one dribble to his left, and heave a prayer that went in. Pat, first of all, how shocked were you that Hunter Dickinson made that shot in that setting?
Well, I always try to put myself into the shoes of players, especially big guys. And understandably, I never took a three-pointer in my college career. So it's really hard for me to put myself in those shoes. I have no idea what that would feel like. But you got to imagine no one really thought that shot was going to go in. But hey, when I attest that to his preparation and his leadership, because you don't knock a shot down like that. That's not just luck. I guarantee you he's been working his butt off on expanding his range and gave his team an opportunity there. And we saw what happened in overtime. It's pretty incredible. And a shout out to Caitlin Clark. I watched that full game earlier today. She's unbelievable. She's like, as soon as that thing came off my hand, it's money. So I got a chance to see 2 buzzer beaters live today. That was pretty.
I love that. That quote was unbelievable. They were like, "So how did you feel?" Honestly, I thought I hit it. Like, I love that. I love that answer from her. She's got some swag, man. She's got some shit to her. I'm a big fan. And that just kind of encapsulates what this weekend was, Greg. And I hate to go off script, and I always go off script, so I know that you're kind of were prepared for this, but I think that this was the best weekend of basketball, period, and also college basketball that I've seen in I don't even know how long. That game between the Sixers and the Celtics was unbelievable last night, right? Yesterday in college hoops, that was March. I don't care what anybody says. I know we still got a week before we get to conference tournaments or whatever. Like, that was March. We had teams coming back from 25 points and hitting game winners at the buzzer. We had Iowa coming back from 13 down with 1 minute and 34 seconds left, tying games at the buzzer, scoring 11 points in 55 seconds, right? Second greatest comeback in the history of the NCAA tournament. We had top 5 teams losing. We had literally everything that you could ask for out of a wild day of college basketball. It was awesome. That's why we're here. That's why we love this sport. That's why we're fired up. And specifically about Hunter Dickinson and about Michigan, I mean, look, that's what you want out of your star, right? That's what you ask of him, is in those moments to find a way to get something done. Like, 2 seconds left, you're kind of relying on just throwing the ball up to your 7-footer and praying that he gets something done. That's not, I don't think Juwan Howard is going to sit there and say, I drew up this great play.
Right? Yeah, no way.
Yeah, look at what I did. I was able to get him a 29-footer. He can get that shot literally anytime he wants, because there was a guy that was about this tall guarding him. That was just a dude making a play. And I think it's fair to say, correct me if I'm wrong here, Greg, that one of the issues that we've seen with Michigan so far this season is you didn't have dudes that would go out there and make plays. Hunter Dickinson had 23 and 10 tonight. He had 4 assists. Kobe Buffkin had 28 tonight. Doug McDaniel, RC's guy, had 20 points tonight. They were more than just a one-trick pony. They found a way to get a win in a game that did not look like they were going to win. They've now won 3 in a row. They're 17-12 on the season. They're 11-7 overall. And if they win out, they win these last 2 games at Indiana and at Illinois. That's not an easy thing to do, but if they do it, 19 wins in the regular season. They'll have 5 quad 1 wins. They'll be sitting there at 11-11 against the top 2 quadrants. That's more than enough to make up for a quad 4 loss. I think that if they win these 2 games, I think that they are in, regardless of what happens in the Big Ten. As long as they don't do something stupid like losing to Minnesota.
Let me ask you this, though. Are they better or worse without Jet Howard right now in this picture?
So I'm gonna steal this from you, Rob, and I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna see. I know Greg's opinions on this.
Yeah,
because I've seen text messages.
So I'm gonna do a shameless Field of 68 network plug here. I went on Go Blue with Stu, the Michigan podcast here on the Field of 68 with Stu Douglas, and we spent about 15 minutes on this question. This was before the win streak started. So at the time, I said it was crazy, but I said that while saying the quote that they're a better team without Jet might not be true, it would be fair to say you might see some bad habits look a little better. Like you might see a little more communication on the defensive end. You might see a little better team effort on the boards. I think in general, you might see a little better body language. You're going to see less guys take tough shots because it was designed. It was part of the Michigan offense for Jet Howard to go out and take 5 to 6 really tough shots because he's that type of shot maker. Now, those shots haven't been going in for a while, and that's affected Jet on both ends, and it's really affected the team on both ends. And when we talk about how good Kobe Buffkin and Doug McDaniel have been, it's no doubt in part because they're now being given opportunities in spots with the ball in their hands that were going straight to Jet Howard for the month before this. And they've delivered, to be honest. And that makes Michigan a more dynamic team. So I don't think Michigan is a better team without Jet. But I think the biggest question for the Wolverines going forward will be how do they integrate him back? He's going to come back healthy. And if he goes back into that 35-minute, 17 shots a game role with a lot of bad shots and still a lot of mistakes defensively, that's where you start to bite your tongue a little bit. Where
Greg, you said body language, right? One of the things that really stood out to me is I think you can see it on the other players' faces that they are a little less frustrated at how often they get the ball. Does that make sense? It does feel like there's a little bit of element of daddy ball there, right? We criticized like Bryce Alford and Steve Alford for this for a long time. We criticized Doug McDermott and Greg McDermott for this at certain points. And it does feel like there's a little bit of an element of that. Now, it also so happens that Jet is probably your most talented player. So I get how that could get a little bit complicated, but I don't think that it's not a coincidence to me that in the moments when Jet Howard isn't there, you see a guy like Kobe and you see a guy like Doug have some of their best performances because they have the ball in their hands and a little bit more, and they can kind of showcase what they do instead of setting up this dude running off of 10 screens.
Yeah. And you talk about the close game disasters for Michigan earlier this season. Like of all their losses, I think 10 of them have been 1-possession games down the stretch. Yeah. Over half of those games ended with the ball in Jet Howard's hands. And not once did he make a play to win. So now tonight you need a play made. The ball found Hunter Dickinson. He found the play. I think Kobe Buffkin has also had a couple of those plays in big moments down the stretch. So like I said, if you can get Jet Howard back, but maybe just not in the do it all, take every shot in crunch time role, I think this team actually does have a really high ceiling come NCAA tournament.